It's the paradox of managing ego in the world where attention is the commodity and standing out is survival. Mm, but that's the thing, it's not. That's the discourse, the false idea is that standing out is survival. So we have to get attention in order to survive. That's the whole thing. That's how it gets uh, people engaged and stay engaged and you know locked into this kind of circus. It's it would be a mistake to think that the world out there, this is how it's made. We have to be successful in it. How can we do that when it's sort of demanding and how can we do it with being like in a natural way or something? That would be a mistake because the goal of making it in the world, that's the whole issue. That's the false god. It's always about becoming. It's false, yeah. It's always about becoming, but the thing is that this standing out, for example, yeah, we're told that we have to stand out from the crowd to be noticed for a job or whatever. But the fact is that we're already unique. So that's the whole story. There is no crowd, there is no sameness from which we have to stand out. There's already uniqueness. Every person is completely unique. But we don't believe that, we don't trust that. We put that aside and we say, no, we have to chisel ourselves and cultivate ourselves to be like this. What are the chances of the ape who is at the bottom of the attention standpoint? See, again, you're saying that the evolutionary standpoint, which doesn't actually exist, there's no such thing, um, that's the reality. And so then what are the chances of the ape who is at the bottom? This whole hierarchical thing, survival of the fittest, the whole it's uh it's actually a good example for how we tend to fix things, take things, anything just to hold on to, just to have some clarity. Okay, now I have this knowledge of the theory of evolution. The theory of evolution is only a theory. There's never been any proof, but science has run with it. It's assumed, okay, this is the best we have, this is how it is. It's not the case. It's just not the case. Because all the resources are very much exploited by the ones who are at the top. Yeah, because that's the game. It's the ones at the top, the ones at the bottom see themselves at the bottom. So there's a feeling of despondency. There's the whole unfairness of this, and it all happens within that system. But the system is illusory. It's what I was said to your first comment. You're saying that this thing about the that attention is the commodity and standing out is survival. That's the common assumption, but that's not how it is. there's a difference between an assumption of how things are and how things really are by nature. If the theory of evolution is just a theory, so how things are nature. It's if you observe phenomena in nature, okay, the simplest way of saying it is that how does it choose? How does it choose what? The simplest way of addressing this is that everything that holds the theory of evolution as the truth has an underlying assumption, which is that humans are the top of the pyramid. Yeah? So humans are the special creatures, they're at the center. It's the human-centered view of the world. That's a fallacy. It's not possible for something to be higher and something else lower, because the whole point is that whatever there is, you can call it nothingness if you want, energy, I would call it energy, doesn't have a differentiation in it between higher, lower, better, worse. Okay, here with space and time, like there's a cat high in the tree and maybe there's another one a bit lower. So there high and lower makes sense. But see how this something that doesn't have anything to do with form, but has a value added to it, higher, lower, yeah, and higher is somehow better. See how that's just conceptual. The way things are in nature truly is that energy, so energy doesn't necessarily take form, right? But it can. So the you could say that that what we see as nature is the expression in form of the formless. And then there's just thriving. There's just thriving there. Everything flows towards furtherance and like flourishing. Yeah, you see that in plants. You see it how animals are born, grow up. There's a cycle. The forms are finite, but the disturbances that we observe are due to the human-centered view of the world. Humans seeing themselves as the center. So you're asking if nature is selective or all-inclusive. It doesn't have to be either. I mean, I would say here, if you're gonna put a gun to my head and give me a choice, I would say it's all-inclusive. But it's saying too much, because it's not like nature looks at over everything and then there's a stray sheep that goes that way and it's like, oh, no, I'm all-inclusive, I include that too. No. But there's no selection. There is no natural selection, survival of the fittest, this kind of stuff. That's all human created concepts, nothing more. Does energy choose a more optimized pathway to entropy? If entropy is true, then there's a choice, and the nature is always looking for the more efficient way to cool down. Okay. So there are no systems in nature, but let's suggest that there are. The only systems that there would be in nature are systems of harmony. Yeah? Things arrange themselves in such a way that for maximum life, for the furtherance of life, for more and more and more abundance. That's the only tendency that there is in nature. And it is actually, if you will hear this, it is actually based on attraction. What's gravity? Gravity is attraction. What keeps an electron circling around a nucleus? It's attraction. Yeah. And see for a second that attraction is the only force, quote unquote, that exists. Yeah. That diffuses the whole thing. And there's no difference there between some scientific law or some different points of view. Yeah. What is attraction? Attraction is what holds atoms together and forms molecules. It's how elements are born one after the other. Yeah. How they come about is through attraction. If you have like an original gaseous soup, let's say, yeah, before there was this planet, let's say, before there were any elements, so you have only so you have only hydrogen, let's say, and then gravity, so attraction, you start having pockets where there's where it gathers, okay, and when this attraction gets stronger and stronger and stronger over I don't know how many millions of years or not, I don't know, then you get compression, yeah. So then you get two atoms starting to then suddenly share electrons because there's enough compression, the force is strong enough, and then you get the jump to the next element, which is helium, right? So it's just the only underlying law, it's not a law, but the only force there is attraction. And think about this now from a non-scientific point of view. What's attraction? How do we, in interpersonal relationships, what is attraction? It's what keeps us interested in someone else. It's all based on attraction. And attraction, what is that? It's love. It's the only thing that exists, literally. It's energy, and we can't explain it. We don't know what it is. But it has you can't even say it has a nourishing quality, because it's not like it has to take care of something, but there is a default setting of more life. No, it's not desire. No, we can call it love. What's wrong with that? No, desire is one of those loaded words, the religions that say you have to sublimate your desires and our desires are the problem. And then, you can also speak of the true deepest heart desires felt by the heart, which is something different. No, let's not call it desire. It's too confusing. It's love. It's for the love of expression that forms come about. You could say it that way. There is only one principle, which is love. And the only tendency, it's not going anywhere, but if you could say that there is a tendency, it's the tendency for more life, more abundance. But then we observe things, yeah, the human mind then observes things and distorts things completely. This is what we see in the world. The way things are is because of these kind of distortions. Yeah. You observe something in nature, like you observe a wolf pack. A wolf pack is a family. That's what a wolf pack is. Yeah. So you have the mother, you have the father, you have the kids, maybe you have some aunts and uncles and cousins. I don't know what's going on. It's a family. but there's no authority there. Then we talk about, oh, this is the alpha, and that's the this, and that's the that. And now we talk about hierarchy. There are strict hierarchies. If you ever watch a nature documentary, it's completely ridiculous. There's a strict hierarchy. Everybody knows their place. And if everybody knows their place, then everything works well, and so on. It's a family. It's just based on love of family. Yeah. There's too much distortion, and it really serves us well to pay attention to the words we use, to the things we say, to the things that we regurgitate, that we affirm to be true because we've just kind of flippantly accepted them because it sounds witty or clever or intelligent or important or authoritative, because so many people have said it, because this Nobel laureate has said it. Yeah, it's very flimsy. It's very it's a lot of show and very little content. How is love manifested in this abundance of variations? There's no how. What do you mean how? It's diversity. Why more and more and more? There's no reason. Why not? Tell me that. Why not? Why not abundance? Would you rather live a life of lack? If you have a child, a cute child, you don't want to shower it with gifts? Would you like to take things away from it or make it feel bad? If you look for a motivation, you're not going to find one really, because um, there is no at the root. It's a mystery. We don't know. It looks like it has a trajectory. Yes, it looks like it, but there is no real trajectory. There is no point A from point A to point B. It's just we're trying to put it into words. It's not easy because words have limitations, and we're talking about something that doesn't. Like it's searching for something through trying many things. No, that would be a human projection. That's what we're doing. You see it? How we observe everything and we put our point of view on it? No, it's not randomness either. This again, this is again the human mindset that it has to be an either or. So it has to be randomness, or it has to be uh, a pattern. No, it's not a paradox. That's the whole thing. If you take a step back, you see that it's neither a pattern nor randomness. Then words stop. Then you stay silent, and you get a sense of what is. You can't put words to it. You can't define it. It's a mystery. In a way, we don't need to talk about it. I mean, there's no need, but yeah, if you like talking about it, you can talk about it. But there's nothing that's going to be discovered there. It's about life. It's about how we live our lives. It's about enjoying our life. And it's most definitely not a paradox. That's what the human mind would say. It's like, I can't solve this. So there has to be some issue there. Because actually, human intelligence is what distinguishes humans from the rest of nature as special. Therefore, we've got to get somewhere. We can't arrive at a point where there's some just like no answer. Yeah, the drive to assert human dominance and superiority is so strong, and when we accept this in ourselves, we join in the search for attention, for example, because we think it's so vital. Like you were saying, it's about survival. then there won't be any acceptance of anything else. Then there will be a stomping on over everything to try and get to, okay, this is a satisfactory answer now. I don't know what you mean by ineffable. Yeah, it can't. You're too beautiful, great to be described in words. Yeah, it can't be described in words. Yeah, because it's something that has no limits. But words have limits, so you can't describe something without limits with something that has limits. And it's very something a human mind fails. No, it's not a failure, because the mind is not meant to do this. That's not what the mind is for, to describe something in words no, it's not a failure at all. The mind has to have limits to function properly. Language has to have limits, otherwise it doesn't make any sense. It's a perfect design, it's completely perfect. A word wouldn't make sense if it was infinite. If the letters just kept on going, how would you use it? How would you write it down? Look what we can do. Look, we have literature. That's not possible without limitations. But we don't have anything else other than our mind. That's not true at all. The mind is only a part, and it's not the main one. We have our senses. How to use those? You don't need to make any kind of deliberate use of them. They're already being used. They are what guides you in your day-to-day life. If you have a really important decision, you make it according to your gut feeling, let's say, or your intuition, or however you want to call it, then you will be making the right decision. But that's not a mental thing. There's no entity that uses them. It's integral. How does a caterpillar move its legs? We are like caterpillars who forgot how to coordinate our legs. That's how much complexity, how our sort of worship of complexity has made us. Yeah, and this fascination with this limitless power that we imagine ourselves to have because of the mind. It's naive, and it doesn't go anywhere. Okay. Me and my wife was discussing about the mystery of touch, how some touches are compatible with someone, others not. Very difficult to explain. Yeah, I can see. I don't know what you mean exactly, but some touches are compatible with someone. Like you remember someone's touch more than others. Hmm. I don't know about that. Maybe. Like some magic has happened there. Of course, if there's love, if there's a real connection between two people, then that is like that is that feeling of magic, of course. But if there's intimacy, physical intimacy with someone where there is no real connection, then that magic won't be there. Sure. There's compatibilities between people. There's not you're not never gonna like everybody, right? We're wondering if it's mental or physical. It's again, it's actually limitations which make things make sense. So the limitation, for example, of you're never gonna be friends with everyone in the world or everyone you've ever met in your life. Out of those people, you're not gonna be friends with everybody. There are certain compatibilities. Yeah, where there's a complementarity, things fit together. That's it. It's not a mental thing. It's physical, but the physical is the manifestation of the love. So sexuality, for example, is the physical expression of love. That's why engaging in sexuality where there is no love leads only to some emptiness, empty feelings. So things have their way of working, things have their integrity, and everything is already in place. The design is already perfect. We exhaust ourselves thinking we have to improve something, or yeah, it's just a waste, really. It's just a waste of energy, and if it's carried on throughout our whole lives, it's a waste of our life, really. There's an opportunity to be free, to live completely freely for everybody. But yeah, the fascination of complexity is such that um, most people don't even want that, you know? So coming back to the topic, how does one live their life in this era of hyper competitiveness and attention seeking economy? Hmm. Could come at it from so many different angles. You could say that there is no how. Um, it's really only about your own engagement with it, with this hyper competitiveness or this attention seeking environment. Yeah. It's how much credence you give to it. It's how interested you are to take part in it because it promises you some kind of a success or recognition. So if you are enamored with this recognition, then you've already made a decision. Um, if you believe that you have to be extremely competitive, otherwise you won't get anywhere. It's like parents who worry about their children, yeah, about their education, that they force them to be well educated because they have to have some security for the future, and no, no, no. It's all based on fear. So if you go along with this game, then you've already made your decision. But the natural way of relating would be that you keep your own counsel. Yeah. It's only about what you give your assent to inwardly. That's it. Then the how just takes care of itself. A life lived with real, uh, with true honesty, um, will always find its place, or like its niche, or the thing to do. Like, if anything, it's about finding what you really want to do. Find out what you really want to do, and then do that no matter what. That's how that would be the answer to your question. Regardless of external validation, exactly. How will you know if you're delusional? What do you mean? Delusional about what? Okay, hear this. The whole competitive environment, this hyper competitiveness that you're talking about, it is absolutely and completely delusional. Yeah, the whole world of seeking attention, making efforts to seek attention, is utterly, completely delusional, totally delusional. So there, you are in your own echo chamber. Yeah, I don't know what that means. But honestly, these kind of questions, like how will you know if you're delusional in this context, they're just excuses. They're just excuses to not do what really comes naturally to you, to not live a fulfilled life, regardless of external validation. There will be, and the excuses not to live according to your true nature will be endless. Yeah, someone discovers they have a talent or desire, passion for art, and then the arguments will start. Yeah, but nobody can earn money with art, and blah 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 blah. So you never even start. um yeah, but that's, each to their own. Like your son loves to play the guitar. Okay. But he seeks validation from others, which is really subjective sometimes. You mean, I don't follow. Rather than developing his skills. At his age, I can understand his struggle to get attention while performing rather than developing his skills. Huh. Oh, so you're saying he seeks validation from the guitar playing? Yeah, but that's, that's taking a talent and letting the ego take it over. The audience you're in dictates what you're going to play. I told him the path is in playing your way and finding your audience rather than playing the tunes they want to hear. Yeah, I would agree with that. It seems true for any creative work. If you want to chase what the market wants, you will face this dilemma. Yeah, but that's the whole thing again. Then, if you're chasing what the market wants, you're again taking part in this um, hyper competitiveness, as you called it. It's the same discussion. Then it's not. It's not about. Can't see the message properly. To make artwork or a user validated product. Yeah, it's the same discussion. Uh, I was talking about doing something out of uh, that suits our abilities. And then, of course, then again, if we do get recognition for it, let's say, it can be again be sort of hijacked by the ego. It can become completely perverted, that ability. But that's always up to us. Again, then we will get opportunities throughout our life to see that uh, we kind of create our own adversity by looking for recognition, right? Because looking for recognition is always based on lack. So I need attention from others, which is a kind of energy. I need that because I feel so insignificant and insufficient in myself. So I need that to top me up. I need it to fill me up because I feel some kind of hole. Yeah, and the whole thing, all the adversities that creates, is meant as a reminder to throw us back on ourselves, to see that there is no hole, there is no lack. So then you just go and you live your life. There is no how to it. Why this sense of lack? Yeah, well, that's goes back to the beginning of our conversation. No, the lack is not peer pressure. The lack comes from this distinguishing humans as special over all other creatures, over the rest of nature. Yeah. This juxtaposition of the higher ones and this is the lower one. This is the earth, everything that is earthly. Yeah. If you think about it, everything that is earthly, it's considered dirty, it's considered uh, sexuality is down there. So the drive is always to reach something higher, something more spiritual, something more special. So to justify this placing humans at the top, you have to have something that is lower. Otherwise, the higher doesn't make sense, yeah, as a concept. So what's lower is everything else. Humans are at the top, everything else at the bottom. But this everything else, which is nature, which we can't actually divorce ourselves from because we are made of the same stuff. But we suppress that, let's say, in us, or at least we attempt to. Yeah. So what we're placing as lower is actually that which nourishes us. That's where our energy gets renewed. Yeah, as physical beings. So if you set yourself up, you're creating a kind of a separation. So that's the separation, and then you get a sense of lack, because this higher concept, it's never going to get nourished, because the water is flowing down here. It doesn't go up there to meet us because we say we're so great. Yeah. So then we don't have any nourishment. So then we sense a sense of lack. And it chases its tail all the time. It's like a it's a vicious circle, because to maintain this position of higher, we have to be told that there is something, that we are dependent on this higher placement, let's say. So we have to be told that there is some kind of a lack within us. Yeah, that's what we get taught, that it's like, because of this, because nature is seen as lower, so that means all of our own physical aspects, which the physical is part of nature, right? So everything that is physical, all the bodily secretions, everything is disgusting, everything is lower, everything is somehow evil or bad or needs to be transcended. Yeah. So that which is lower has been demonized, basically. It's seen as evil. Yeah, the good is the higher and the spiritual and the pure. The bad is the greed, which is attributed to nature, the avarice, the cruelty, all negative qualities are projected onto nature. So nature is the repository of evil. So there is also an aspect of ourselves that is evil. And again, you have this either or that we always seem to promote. So the good and the bad, we have good aspects, we have bad aspects. And of course, if you have some belief in evil within us, of course there's going to be a sense of lack. Because this either or, this juxtaposition of good and evil, it never leads to wholeness. So if there's no wholeness, there's a sense of lack. So we are told, we are conditioned that in and of ourselves, we are not good enough. We have to become better. We have to become something. And how do we do that? By the guidance of others, by the trust in the traditions and the systems and everything else that is put in place. Yeah, by being loyal to our culture and so on. So we've been told that in and of ourselves, we're not enough. So then the whole point of life, which is to keep your own counsel, to live according to your nature, to let everything, all your unique abilities come to expression, is put to one side completely. It's completely like, it's just like whoosh, put away. Yeah, that's it. So if in and of ourselves, the belief that is instilled in us that in and of ourselves we are not enough, of course that's a sense of lack. And why is that sense of lack instilled in us? So that we have the obedience to the environment around us. Yeah, because this belief of the superiority of humans doesn't have its own source of nourishment. So how does it stay up there? by being constantly reaffirmed by people. Yeah, it's constantly being given energy. By believing in it, we give it energy. So we nourish it, we feed it, we keep it up there on the pedestal. And how do we keep giving it energy? By being told we are not enough how we are. Because that creates some kind of a hole and a kind of a fear in us, so that we become obedient to that. You understand? But the beauty of it is that it's not like, the common assumption would be that, oh, we can't do anything about it, so might as well make the most of things, as best we can. The beauty of it is that if anyone who does have pluck up the little bit of courage to really truly live with honesty and, just expressing whatever their nature wants to express, to put it simply, um, without, yeah, well, with kind of this keeping their own counsel, that already diminishes this false reality, and if we don't take part of it, we're not part in it, we're not giving our energy to it. You can't ask for anything else than that. Give me some tips where one can tune in and understand his true nature. That's something you got to find for yourself. It's really about is that something you want or not? If it is something you want enough, if you can kind of find that uh, burning desire enough, you know what I mean? If you have that sincere desire, then the way will show itself. Then all the different aspects where something false is active, it will just show itself bit by bit. But you can't have it both ways. You can't be like kind of enticed and seduced by getting some recognition, or then you're kind of left to your own devices. So but as soon as the decision is clear, or the intention, the loss of interest in trying to get attention from others, as long as that's clear enough, as soon as that's at the forefront, then you don't need any tips. Then you just live your life and you just see what happens. Burning desire. Yeah, I just mean the natural desire to, like, if you're saying here that the sadness that this how this dynamic takes its many forms, individually, collectively, amongst races and ethnicity. If that sadness is strong enough, if your desire to live a life with not running after tricks of the ego, if that desire is strong enough, then you'll be fine. If you have doubts about it, oh yeah, but no one can live just according to their own devices, and there are so many excuses. That's what I'm saying to you. That's what I was saying to you at the beginning as well. The thing we do is that we compromise in our life constantly. So if you're not prepared, no longer prepared to make compromises, then you've already got your how. Then you don't need any tips. It's sad that people will do anything to get rich. No one wants to remain poor. That's not true. Lots of people want to remain poor. Lots of people think poorly. Okay, they might tell themselves superficially that they want money, but what they are constantly reaffirming is that they are poor, that they will never get money. Yeah, it's the thinking poor. It's a form of compromise. It's saying this is the way things are by nature. I'm just one of those unlucky people. So people would rather stay with the image, with the self pitying image of themselves as somebody poor, than to give up that self image and feel much better. So there can be like an addiction in a way to these self images, to negativity. Yeah, this applies to anything, to any kind of negativity or positivity. There are so many self images we carry around. This is just one dynamic that can keep someone in poverty. That's obviously not a generalization for, anyone in the world who doesn't have much money, that everybody is of that mindset. But there are also plenty of people who are not interested in money. They're not interested in having a lot of money. They're interested in having just enough to get by, pay their rent, have some food, finished. Then if you don't want that because your neighbor is going to look at you funny and think, oh, what a loser, yeah, then you've already started living according to what other people think is good and being a slave to the opinion of others. Opinion of others and peer pressure that did the most damage to me personally. Getting triggered by passing insults. Yeah.